And I also know when I meet people, I can also sort of visualize the relationship, which I'm told is really bad because you're sort of manifesting its path. Yeah. But I can see it, and I can see how the relationship is going to meet its demise in this, which is kind of interesting. Yeah. But I mean, sometimes this feeling of I'm better than you, I'm the most powerful, no one else can do what I can do. And I quite like your attitude towards this. Actually, anyone can do this. And do you think that's why you have such a strong following? Do you think people want to follow that path and want to be part of something? I sometimes do sense things about people, and I don't share that. I don't,
because I do that. Because that's what they're telling you for. So you're now going to act already like you are famous.
Kiss my ass and Julie.
That less in your soul contract when you were born, you actually wrote, listen, I want to have a really life, that we can all manifest ourselves a good life. I truly do believe you're going to see me in a year's time famous.
Yeah, in a year's time, I'm going to come back round Julie's house as an international rock star.
Yes.
I'm going to hand her one of my gold discs.
You're going to hand me a bouquet of flowers and say thanks very much, love.
Yes, I am. So today I'm exploring witchcraft with Julie, and we're in the heart of England. I was telling Julie that she keeps popping up on my algorithm because she has quite a big social media following, and she practices spells on TikTok, and her way of delivery is very feisty and very relatable. So I think it would be cool to find out how all of this started. Have you always been a witch?
Yes.
Do you feel like you were born a witch, or is it an ancestry thing or passed down through generations?
When I think now, I think my dad was actually, I was thinking about this last night, and I actually think my dad, if he was now, he would have been a witch.
Oh, wow.
I think so, because he had, everything in his bedroom was purple, which is like a really random colour for a man to have.
Yeah.
And he was very into the horoscopes and the planets, and sort of, you know, I'm 60, so my dad would have been 91 now. But he was when I was little, he was very interested in the planets. He had my charts, done my birth charts, which is really unusual for a northern man, because he was a typical working northerner to do. And I thought this last night, I thought, actually, you know, thinking back, I think he probably would have been a witch. I think he would have been. So it might be hereditary, but I was brought up a Roman Catholic, as most of the Coven were. And all of us, it was the same experience. We didn't believe in what we were being taught at school. I was taught by nuns. I was always in trouble.
You sound like me.
Yeah, I was always in trouble because I never got what they were telling me, and I question everything. I've questioned things all my life. And if it doesn't feel right, I will question it. So I questioned it. And then the problem was I was obviously always in trouble for that. And then when I was about 14, 15, I started to think that I was a special child of God, which is a bit random, because everything I wanted happened.
Okay.
So an example would be if it was coming up to Mother's Day and I had no money to get my mum a card or a present, something would happen and the money would just come. So I'd wish for that and it would happen within a day or two. And then if I liked a guy, I could always get them to ask me out. I would picture them asking me out, and then they would.
Oh, wow.
So
that's quite a powerful gift to have, isn't it? I mean, imagine.
Yeah, and I'll just tell you the story while I remember it, because I'm getting older and my memory don't remember. I was in town with a very attractive girl about 4 years ago, and she was a psychic medium, and she couldn't get about witchcraft, and she kept wanting me to say, but I don't understand how you do it. And I said, well, I'll give you an example. And I was dressed in my dog training clothes, which they're really scruffy. Hair was all scruffed up, no makeup. And she was beautifully made up like you are now. So we were walking through Coventry, and I said, watch this now. I'm going to get really handsome males to come and talk to me and say hello to me. And
that's brilliant.
Remember that was Indy, and I did, and she just couldn't believe it. You know, some really handsome man come up and asked for my phone, and she was like, "How are you doing that? How are you actually doing that?"
That's amazing.
And I said, "Well, you know, I'm visualising myself as looking like a stunner." Oh, wow. And that's pushing over to them, and they're seeing me not as I am. They're seeing me as I'm picturing myself. So it's a bit like putting a picture in someone else's mind.
Would you call that kind of a very advanced form of manifestation?
Yeah,
like
very advanced.
Yeah.
And you can't do it very often. I think it was only because I was trying to explain, and the gods were with me that day and let me do it, because it is hard to do, to be fair.
Yeah, and do you believe, because obviously you feel in some way that you were born into this, even though it wasn't obvious, and I think that starts to happen as you go along this journey. You start to look back, and even like with me, I think, well, there was actually things growing up that were like, oh, that was interesting. Like my nan was very superstitious. Like there was a lot of emphasis on ghost stories and stuff when I was growing up. And if someone had said to me, oh, was that in your family? I'd have been, no. Because you don't think or you don't realise. But when you start to really look back, there are links there in some way. My kind of point of asking is, do you think that's within everybody?
Yes, I do. I think every single person could be a witch if they wanted to be.
Yeah, I love that attitude.
Power of the brain.
Yeah, that's amazing, because I think some people, and I think why a lot of people don't like witches or psychics, because there is sometimes this feeling of, I'm better than you, I'm the most powerful, no one else can do what I can do. And I quite like your attitude towards this. Actually, anyone can do this. And do you think that's why you have such a strong following? Do you think people want to follow that path and want to be part of something?
I think people like us, because like with our Coven TikTok, we have just under 800,000 followers on that one. And I just think that people see us as normal, everyday people.
Yeah.
And even when they message us with questions, you know, like, I need to get my ex-boyfriend back, he treated me really badly, but I love him. And we're like, don't be just don't be stupid.
Like, why would you want to do that?
And where somebody else might say, oh, give some money and we'll do a spell for you. We actually say, look, you're just being pathetic. You know, get a grip, get a life, get some balls. You know, and we do actually talk to people like that on there, don't we?
It's quite funny. But that's kind of what you want, because sometimes I feel like if you're
lots of scammers out there.
Yeah, if you're going to a witch, or if you're paying someone to read your fortune, there are people who aren't in the best frame of mind or place in their life. You know, like if you're seeking to contact someone who's just died, or if you're desperately lonely and looking for some random bloke to fall in love with you, then I don't know if that's that healthy to be encouraging that. Do you know what I mean?
No, it isn't.
So I think that kind of attitude is quite empowering for people.
Yeah, and the problem is out there's so many scammers. You know, this is a real big problem. There's so many scammers that will take your money and they won't do anything for you. You know, they are just there, and people are so desperate that they just keep paying.
Yeah. So you don't actually offer your craft or your skill as a service.
Okay, we do.
You do? Okay,
we do.
You do. Okay.
But on very strict terms. So they go through our website. If somebody wanted a spell, we're very reasonable. We don't charge a lot of money. But if somebody wants a spell, we'll send them out, what's it called, Anne? A questionnaire that they have to fill in. And if we don't think it's something that's either good for them or it's going to work, we say no.
Yeah, okay. So there's like, it's not just like any old person who comes along.
No.
Okay, that's
so we don't do that. We don't. And to be fair, the reason we do it is so we raise a lot of money for charity.
Yeah, of course.
So most of the Coven funds, the money we earn off TikTok, we send it to charities mainly.
Yeah.
But apart from paying for a little storage room, because we can't move in here when we're all in here.
Yeah. I mean, I watched a TikTok and you were talking about love spells. What is your thought on that? Say I come to you and I'm like, I want this hottie to fall in love with me. What do you think? Do you think, sort yourself? It's like you said,
do think sort yourself out.
I wouldn't want. I certainly wouldn't want to force anyone to love me. That's bloody weird in my opinion. But
I think the big issue is you don't even know who this person is, really, do you? You don't know. So say we put that thought in their head for them to fall in love with you. Could turn out to be a nut job. And then you're stuck with them because I'll get obsessive. So do you really want that? I mean, I say that to people. Do you want a nut job?
Couldn't think of anything more annoying, to be honest.
Exactly. Whereas when it's somebody who's been married and maybe the marriage is a bit, it's gone a bit stale and they're starting to fall apart, and then they ask for something to bring them back together. They've got children. That's different, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
because you're
different.
helping to save a marriage.
But also it's different because there was consent there from
And
both
connection.
parts. Yeah, and connection. So they married for a reason, and rekindling that, if there's something you can do, it's positive, and if there's kids involved, it can make everyone's life better. But this kind of idea that you can kind of go, oh, I want Brad Pitt to fall in love with me, as if that's ever going to happen. But do you know what I mean? That idea, like you just pick some randomer and go, oh yeah, I'll have him, please. Please, yes. That's very crazy.
And it just doesn't work, because the thing with the love spell is that has to be that little bit in there of them wanting you. Otherwise, they just won't work.
Yeah, of course.
They really won't work. You just waste your money. And if you pay someone else to do it and they tell you it will, they're lying, it will never work. We're really successful with the few spells that we have done. But I'll give you an example of this, and let's hope he doesn't see it. So we have a man in America who was with his partner, and his partner was having an affair, and the universe plays very funny tricks on people, because you have to be very specific about what you want, because if you're not, then they will play tricks. The universe will play tricks. And he asked for this other guy to be removed, but not to hurt him, for him to be removed. And we did do it, didn't we? Because we felt so sorry for him.
Yeah.
And we did. And within 2 days, they'd split up. So this guy who she'd been having an affair with, they'd split up. But then what happened? The next week, she started seeing another guy.
Oh, so it was, so you removed
the spell worked, but the universe just put another man there.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how it will work. That's sometimes what can all go wrong with spell work.
It's like careful what you wish for, isn't it? And be very specific about what you wish for.
I think with us, like myself and Anne, we're older, and when we were young, there was no internet. We didn't have computers. I never seen a computer till I was 30. I think I was probably a little bit older. So when I was like 17 and I actually realised I was manifesting things myself, we had no choice but to go to libraries.
Yeah, of course.
Because the only way to learn witchcraft was to get a book, and the only place I knew to get books from was the library. And I was lucky I had a very good librarian who would order special books in for me. But now it's a bit like, so we learned our craft, if you understand, over the years. We learnt it thoroughly. But now it's a bit like anyone can be a witch without learning. So we all can be witches, but it's like everything. You have to learn your craft. You have to learn.
Yeah, of course you do. And you gain your power and gain your knowledge of years and years of practicing and learning via error, I suppose, sometimes, and things like that. My question, coming back to when you were younger, have you faced quite a lot of adversity? As a young girl who was kind of going around saying, like, manifesting things like almost subconsciously and getting what she wanted, what did your friends think of that? Were you like a loner, or did you have a group of friends who were into the same things, or what was the reaction?
So basically, people just say that I'm one of the, people just think I'm a very, very, very lucky person.
Okay.
That's what they used to always say to me. Gosh, you're so lucky. No matter what you fall in, whatever, you always come up with like 10,000 roses on your head.
Yeah.
So, and you don't, then in the 70s and 80s, you didn't tell people that you were practicing witchcraft or paganism.
Well, no, I guess because it was slightly more taboo.
No.
Yeah.
And then I had my 2 children when I was quite young, and there was a big thing in the paper. So few people knew what I did, but then there was a big thing in the paper about some witches on one of the Scottish islands who'd been practicing, and their children were taken away.
Oh, wow.
And I don't think they ever actually got those kids back. So that was it then. Paganism and witchcraft was this really bad thing again, even worse than it was. So I just didn't tell anybody, basically. But like us older ones didn't, you just kept it to yourself, what you did.
So I suppose it must be quite liberating now that things have changed, because you can be yourself, you can put it all over social media, and it's being celebrated. So that must be quite nice to see both sides, like growing up where you had to hide it and, you know, for fear of terrible things happening to you and your family. And now you can celebrate it and sort of free speech kind of thing, put it all over the internet.
But I think I'm glad my life happened as it did, because I think I probably would have been lazy and I wouldn't have learnt my craft properly.
Yeah.
I think I would have just gone on social media or Google things if I wanted to know them, instead of actually researching them and testing them.
Well, it's different, isn't it? I mean, I grew up, I read loads and loads and loads of books. And when you read a book, your mind is completely in that book and
Yes.
you're taking it in. But if you're Googling things, like your attention span is here,
Yeah.
there and everywhere, and you get dragged away to other places.
Yeah.
So learning from a book is very different to Googling something online.
Definitely.
Because you take in everything, whereas online you take in little snippets and you think you know, but you haven't really took it in properly. So it's the best way to learn, I would say. So that's why you're now, Julie was telling me about, she's released a book with the Coven and she's spreading her spells and what she's learned to other people, like a new generation of witches, I guess.
And I think that they will be. And hopefully they'll get a good basic grounding from the book rather than bits from here and bits from there. It will come from the book, and the book is your basics of witchcraft. So we're drumming the basics into people. We also do, obviously on TikTok and Insta, you can have subscribers, which we only worked that out not long ago. So we now do witchcraft lessons to our subscribers every Monday.
Oh, cool.
So they get an hour's witchcraft lesson.
Yeah.
It's pretty good because
No, it is good. It's another
they only
outlet.
pay like £3 a month. It's bonus.
Yeah. No, I think it's, but en masse for you that works really well because you can. It adds up en masse, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And to each person, it's a really small amount of money. You couldn't even buy a cup of coffee for that in most places.
And they get 4 lessons a month and 6 live pendulum and card pulls.
Yeah, it's quite fascinating how you kind of merge both worlds because you're selling books, but you're also making the most of social media marketing and very modern techniques as well.
We also hold a festival every year in May across the road in the event centre over there because they've got a lovely lake and forest. And our aim, so our coven, we're an open coven. So a lot of covens are closed. People don't go on. We're very open. We invite people along to our rituals. You can come along to any of our rituals and see that, we're just here. Obviously, we're named after Mother Earth. Gaia, is Mother Earth. So that's what we do. We give thanks to Mother Earth when we hold ritual. And we try to bring people together as a community. Yeah. So everybody, no matter how odd you think you are, or how lonely, or how sad, or even how much you need somebody, we bring people together as a community.
Yeah.
So, and we do a festival once a year for 3 days, and people can come with their families, and we hold workshops and rituals, and we have a stage with pagan bands playing. We'll have to put you down for a singer.
Yeah, sing along song. Yeah.
But we do that over 3 days, and we get like 2,000 or 3,000 people come.
Yeah.
And they stay. And so, for example, if you were married and your husband was not into any sort of spiritualism at all, but you wanted to learn more, you could say to him, let's go to this festival. And he would be plenty for him to do because we have a Viking village, we have bars. We have so he could come and be quite happy sitting there while you go and find out what you want to find out.
Yeah, that's what it's so it's very inclusive.
And for the children.
Yeah. Very
Very inclusive for children, starting them off young.
Yeah, exactly.
We do little workshops for children.
And would you consider yourself psychic? Would you be able to say I walked into a room, which I have done today, I've walked into your ritual room. Can you read people? Can you and I'm not testing you, and that's not how I want this to come across, but do you get psychic feelings about people who you come across? Like, are you walking down the street? Sometimes you'll look at someone and feel...
Not like them, load. I'm quite difficult as well because when I find someone I don't like, I can't talk to them.
I'm exactly like that.
I can't have them I can't have them in my space, in my aura space.
Can you imagine if I'd have turned up, you're like,
I've done it.
Leave immediately.
I've done it. That's why Annie's here. Because if I can't, you'd have been left with Annie. Because I wouldn't have been able to. It would make me feel sick.
Yeah.
It makes me feel sick if there's someone turns my stomach.
Yeah, I had that growing up. I used to be like that, and people used to just think I was standoffish or rude even. And I would meet some people and I'd be like, oh, I can't even. I know that something about you is off, like there's an intent there, or you're not genuine, or you're
fake.
Yeah, and I couldn't.
Yeah,
I couldn't.
You should still have that. That never leaves you.
No, I do. Like I do still have that kind of. Yeah, I do. I do have that instinct, and I also know when I meet people, I can also sort of visualize the relationship, which I'm told is really bad because you're sort of manifesting its path, but I can see it, and I can see how the relationship is going to meet its demise almost, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, what's your thoughts on something like that? Do you think I'm partially manifesting my own fate?
Well, I believe our fate's already written for us.
Okay,
so as witches, most of us, we believe that our path's already written. You know, that we're on one of many lives.
Okay.
So I'm probably on my 7th or 8th life.
Okay.
I have flashbacks and visions of past lives.
Yeah.
And I believe that I travel with the same people. To a very, very strange thing. My little grandson, who when he was 3, I took him just to Skeggy for a couple of days to give his mum a break. And we were walking along the beach, and he said, he was a bit of a late talker, so we hadn't really been talking very long. And he went, "Do you remember, Nanny, when you were my sister and we lived by the sea?" That's what he said. And I went, "No, I don't remember that time. Where were we?" He went, "We lived by the sea in that weird," he didn't say weird, he said that funny shaped house.
Oh.
And I said, "Oh, okay." And then I left it a minute and I went, "You know when I was your sister?" And he went, "What?" He went, "No, you're my nanny."
Yeah.
And that, to me, is little children, they remember their past lives.
Yeah, children are quite susceptible. You often get...
They forget as they get older.
Yeah, like even with sort of paranormal activity and ghosts, children often sense it before...
Yeah.
I've heard so many stories about someone's child saying there's a guy standing at the end of the bed in a white coat doing this every night, and he's talking to me about this, and the parents are like, "Oh, it's your imaginary friend."
No, it isn't.
But it's something
Yeah, they
else.
see, because they're innocent, aren't they? The problem is, as soon as literally you're born and you're walking and you're talking, you're already being programmed into this world on how they want you to be. Because, you know, what is it always? Don't do that. You're a naughty girl if you do that. You're a naughty boy if you don't do, you know, I need you to be a good boy by doing this. So you're being programmed. And then when you get to school, you get programmed more. And everything programs you. I sound like a nut job now, don't I?
No,
Everything
you don't
programs you.
Yeah.
I truly believe that. And I believe that, you know, especially for women are programmed, aren't they? Sit quietly, don't make a fuss.
Yeah.
You know, let your big brother have that. Let your brother have that.
Men
should come first.
Children should be seen and not heard, and all of that kind of stuff. And
I do lots of classes on shadow work. You know, working with your shadow. And I say to people that, you know, when you were little and you wrote on the wall with a pen, and you got slapped really hard or told off for that, didn't you? But, you know, you didn't realise when you were 3 years old or 2 that drawing, you just saw that pencil and wanted to draw.
Well, yeah, it's sort of creativity, isn't it? It's just doing, it's not harmful, really, you know. Well, I mean, it is if it's your wall, but...
but is it, really? Because to me, that person could have been a great artist. And what would happen, they probably never picked a crayon up again in their whole life.
Yeah.
Because that lesson was learned at that time.
Yeah.
That it is bad to draw. That's what would have gone into their brain. It is bad to draw.
Yeah, it's kind of funny when you were saying when you were growing up you were one of those kids that questioned everything. I was an absolute nightmare. I was that kid at school. Why miss? And I went to Sunday school and they'd read the Bible and I was like, what? How did he? How did? I was like, hold on a minute, and I was just seen as a pain in the probably, but I was just like so curious about finding out the truth about these things, and I questioned everything. Wouldn't believe anything I was told. I was like, but why? Why did he do that? And my nan was always really superstitious, and she'd have all these superstitions like, don't wear green. And I was like, why? And then she couldn't really answer why. And then I was like,
because you've been told it. But most of those superstitions have got a reasoning behind them.
Yeah,
you know,
it's
they really
it was unlucky. Like green, I was not allowed to wear green at all growing up. It was unlucky. Now it's my favourite.
Yeah, and we use it for manifestation.
Yeah,
you know, it's the biggest. I mean, green's the colour of earth, and earth is the element that relates to like material things. So anything that you're trying to manifest, really, money, jobs, work, houses. That all comes under green to us.
Yeah, and you also use a lot of, there's no sort of Eye of Newton, all these horrible cliches. You use a lot of household items and things that everyone has around their home. It's nothing quirky or bizarre, like I saw something with cinnamon, and it's stuff. It's like you said, it goes like when I went to Romania, they were telling me that everything goes back to nature. Like there's a herb for this, a leaf for that, things like that. But this is accessible to everyone, essentially, isn't it? As long as you.
Eye of Newt is a code word for a herb. So the old witches, who were called cunning folk, who were really the herbalists of the village. That's what they were, the herbalists and the midwives of the village. And so that was like their life of being the village herbalist. When people got pregnant or they were ill or whatever they needed a good luck charm, they went to that village person. So that was her job. So they hid things. Because they're not going to tell you how to make something, because that was how they made their livelihood.
Yeah.
So they had like code names for everything. Yeah. So most of those are just herbs. They're just herbs that come in your garden.
Yeah. I mean, I don't profess to know that much about witchcraft. My interest in it is because I kind of have these kind of, I don't know, I'm very like down to earth when I describe it. Like, it's like I have these sort of psychic abilities. I can see a lot of spirits. I can see a lot of dead people. I can sense that.
Most of the Coven see spirit.
Yeah, and that's a fairly new thing to me. Like I experienced this during lockdown. I had a really vivid supernatural experience, and it's just left me again with quite a lot of questions. So, I have people come up to me like, "Oh, like you're psychic. You can see things." I'm like, yeah, now I can put a label on it, I guess, but I'm still on that journey. I'm still learning about it, and I'm still fascinated by it. And I don't practice magic daily or anything like that, but I'm just so fascinated about the things that I can see and the things that I can sense. And I guess that is an element of witchcraft, I suppose.
Yeah, it's a type of part of witchcraft. Yeah. We have a lot of psychic witches.
It's kind of interesting. I mean, I suppose it can be developed or not, I suppose.
Yeah, it's up to you what you want to do with it. I don't. I have enough with spirit, with their messages to me, that I don't. I have a barrier up, so I don't allow anybody through.
Okay.
That isn't living, to be fair.
Okay. So you close yourself off.
I've closed myself off for reasons of, and it's too powerful. That's why for me, I'm too earthy. I have other things I need to do without worrying about spirits coming along, giving me messages to pass on to people. Don't want that.
Yeah, there's a lot of responsibility that comes with that as well. And I sometimes do sense things about people, and I don't share that.
You should do that. Because that's what they're telling you for. They want you to pass it on. That's why I won't do it. It's too much, too time consuming.
I worry about if that's a good thing for that person, because I think, well, if someone's come to me and said, "Oh, I've got a message from one of your past relatives," I think that would upset me a bit. Actually, I think that would make.
Depends what they're saying. I mean, you're going to say, "Listen, I'm glad I'm dead because you were like useless," but no, you know what I mean. But you just. I mean, we've got 3 really good mediums in the Coven, and they will literally sit in here and they will pass a message on that they could never have known, that we haven't talked about, and they will pass messages on, won't they, Anne? But I don't. I have my own spirit guides and gods and goddesses that pass on messages to me of things that it's my job to do in this lifetime, and I just focus on that.
Yeah,
and I think that it's a good gift to have, and we can all access the ability of mediumship. You can. Everybody has the fact that they can if they really wanted to.
Yeah.
And I did a little bit my friend who runs mediumship workshops, she asked me to come. Well, she's like, "Oh, come along," and I was like, "I really don't want to." She's like, "Come along," and she's like, "Right, you're all going to receive a message now," and I was like, "I really don't want to." But the problem is, because I think being with so many of the mediums, something came through, and we all had to stand up and say what we saw, and I stood up and I went, "I've got a baby here, and this baby is." It was stillborn, and the baby said to tell you, whoever is the mum, that she was a girl, stillborn. She is now in a new life as a boy, and she is 16 and you know of them. Well, this woman went hysterical. I mean, literally into shock and hysterical.
Yeah, even
right?
you telling me that's giving me goosebumps
Yeah.
because it's so here, isn't it? That
Yeah.
kind of thing.
And so I had to go and speak to her. So they called me up and they said, she's going to tell you. And basically, she'd been abused and got pregnant. And the baby was a little girl stillborn. And the person who'd abused her was her stepdad, who then went on to have another baby a year later with the mum, who was a boy who was now 16.
Oh God!
So she just freaked. I mean,
it's heavy.
That is. And I was just like, oh, do you know? And I said to my friend Barb, I went, do you know what, Barb? I went, I don't mind coming in and helping you if if you ever need me to, but I don't want to do this. I don't want to.
It's a lot.
Do that.
Right, yeah.
That isn't. I got enough. I like my mission, if you like, is to pass on witchcraft to people who want to be witches and make it easy for them to learn how to be. That it isn't a big thing. It's not this really difficult thing to do. It's anyone can become a witch, and to build communities of witches.
All of that heavy stuff, when you're talking about lost loved ones and situations that are really, that it is too much sometimes. So yeah, I
think it's useful if they come to you with a message and say, can you tell my wife I've left like 20 grand stashed in that shoebox?
Oh yeah.
Don't throw it away.
Yeah.
I mean, that's handy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'd be happy to pass messages like that.
Yeah.
But I don't think the more personal messages, I don't think. And I think that once a person's passed on as well, unless it is something that person can't stop grieving and they need something and it will help them in their grief, then that's good. But apart from that, I mean, they'll be on their next life, so they want to leave residues of energy coming back to harass everyone here.
Yeah. I was wondering, and you don't have to, do you have any spells or anything that you can show me that you'd like to share with everyone, or?
Well, we can do a simple bay leaf spell, which is really easy.
Okay. Not what will this manifest like?
So manifest what they want.
Okay.
So realistically, and this is probably the most simplest spell that you can ever do that works better than anything.
Okay.
So this is just showing you how we would do the spell. Because if we were doing a spell, we would do a whole big ritual beforehand to protect ourselves from anything. Mm-hmm. So we would close our circle, we would close ourselves between the worlds to make sure nothing would come. So I'll do it at the table. Shall I do it at the table?
Of course, yeah.
So basically what you're going to do is you're going to take a bay leaf.
Okay.
I'm going to use green because it's earthy, like we said.
Okay.
And what is it you want to manifest?
Do I have to write it on the leaf?
Yeah.
Or?
Money?
Does it have to be very specific, or can I be just success or something?
Okay, so do you want to be successful in being known as someone who got murdered down? This is what I'm saying. The universe will take the piss out of you.
Okay.
So you have to be quite specific.
Okay, I'd like to be successful in music.
Okay, there you go.
And do you want me to write that on there?
Yeah, you write successful in music. And on the other side, put your name and your date of birth. So the universe knows exactly who it's for.
Okay.
And the other thing that I would do, I would put a time scale on there because, like I said, the universe has got a sense of humour. So, it could wait till you were 70 and then make you successful.
Well, yeah, that would be a bit of a...
Yeah, so you don't want to do that. So I would turn it back on the other side and I would say within 1 year or within 1 year. And we always say a year, because a year's good for spells to manifest.
There we go.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And then what you're going to do now, you're going to hold the bay leaf in your hand.
Yeah.
Don't worry about people going, it's got to be in the left, got to be in the right. Just put it in the palms of your hands and blow on it. Blow on it. I would blow on it 8 times. So we're doing 8 times because 8 is the number for abundance. And if you have a sideways 8, that's the sign of infinity.
Okay then.
Yeah. So it's quite powerful. And now as you're doing that, what you're going to do is you're going to visualize yourself in a year time. So the year is today's date and it's 2026.
Okay.
And you are on a big stage doing your music with thousands of people clapping and applauding. You're already there, you're already successful, you're already getting very famous. You're there and they're all cheering, and then you go off stage and there's people in your dressing room telling you how fantastic you were. And then you go outside and there's hundreds of people waiting for your autograph, all saying how brilliant your music was, how successful you are.
Okay.
And you would be visualising that probably for 5 minutes. I know we're not going to sit there for 5 minutes, but you can do this again at home. And now you're going to burn the bay leaf. You can just put it on the candle. You can put it in the cauldron when it's burning. Make sure you've got a good fire on there, because you need it all to burn. You might have to burn it on the other side. Oh, that's... There you go. Nothing with a bit of burnt finger for being successful, is there? Right, and then you can just put it in the cauldron and leave it to burn. Then what you could do is when it's finished burning, you could take the ashes and blow them out into the universe, or you could just leave it there. That really is not the most important part of the spell. What do you think was the most important part of that spell?
The visualising.
The visualisation.
Where I want to be. And I was doing it when I was looking into the flame as well.
So if I was you, what I would do now is every morning when you get up, I would light a bay, do the same. And I would 17 times repeat, I am successful in my music. And the reason it's 17 is 1 and 7 is 8, which is again the number for abundance, for things to come to fruition. And I would do that every single day. Okay?
Oh, there we go.
17 times.
I'll come back
Takes
in a year.
5 minutes. And in a year, I'm going to send you an email and go, remember me?
Yeah.
Now you're famous.
I'm like, what? It worked.
But it will work. And I tell you what, if you believe it will work, it will work. If you go away now and go, what a load of that was, it will never work in a million years. But if you believe it, and now you already have to start acting successfully, like you are successful. So you're now going to act already like you are famous.
Kiss my ass and Julie.
Something to say to that, little scribble on that. You'll have to delete that bit out. But you have to believe now. Now you have to act like you are famous. You really do. And you are, and it will come to pass.
I'm going to get slapped in the supermarket.
No.
Walk around with a little red carpet. Bow down.
But you know, that isn't because the universe doesn't like acts like that, so it will kick you down. But you have to believe, truly believe now that you are this person who has a very successful music career. That's what you need to do. I do it all the time with money. Honestly, I'm like, delete that bit out. But like, I've got a few million because that's what I truly like. Always believe. And I always, like, I never scrimp with my money, even if I didn't have, I would always spend lots of money, and I always give lots of money because I firmly believe the more I give, the more that will come back to me.
You can't, you've got to give to get back, haven't you? It's like nothing in life.
And that's what I do all the time. I give like loads, and whatever I give, I get back threefold.
Wow. There you go. Yeah. Well, that was so fascinating. And
and it was easy, isn't it? That's not this big. It's quite funny because when we do hold a ritual and we're doing a spell, we'll spend 20 minutes preparing and 2 minutes to do the fucking spell.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, it helps to be in an environment like this and surrounded by people who have the same mentality, I would imagine. But yeah, I think it's quite a powerful message that anyone can do it, and they don't need Julie. They don't need to give Julie £10,000.
No, they don't. Don't need to give me anything. You know, I mean, we love it when we get so many people. I had one this morning, lady messaged me and she said she'd asked for her and her partner, the dad of her kids. He'd been iffy and he'd disappeared off like 6 weeks ago, and she hadn't had any contact, and I told her what to do, and she messaged me this morning. She did 3 days ago, and he was back, apologising, saying that we'll never do that again, and she believes him, you know.
Yeah.
So
well, there you go. I mean, it's not doing
good at
harm.
any wrong, is it? No.
It's not doing any harm, and it's giving someone hope, and you know, and it's a positive thing. You know, you're not destroying people's lives. You're giving them hope, and you're giving them positivity, and it can't be bad, can it? Really?
No. And I firmly believe that unless in your soul contract when you were born, you actually wrote, listen, I want to have a really life, that we can all manifest ourselves a good life. I truly do believe that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like anyone who's successful in anything, like any business, you've got to really believe in that. You've really got to push yourself, and you've got to believe in it every day, even when the hits the fan, you've got to keep going. And that's why people are successful in what they do, because they keep going and they don't give up. So it is, it's a form of that. So
in our office, so we have, I run a dog handling company. So basically we train the security dogs, and then I employ like 60 dog handlers, and they deploy to sites all around the country, guarding whatever needs to be guarded. And we have a besom up, you know, like one of those, over the office, the main office door, and then in several of the offices we have altars. And if a contract goes, because obviously contracts come and go, so if a contract's going, we'll all go out and start touching the besom, and within 20 minutes the phone rings with a new job. And I saw a post the other day on one of the security dog handler sites saying, oh God, there's no work about, and everyone was going, oh, there's no work. And we're like just as busy as we always are. You know, doing 20,000 hours a month.
Well, it's that attitude as well, isn't it? Oh no, there's no work. It's all doom and gloom. That doesn't attract greatness, really, does it?
No, it don't, does it? We just say that. I'll be saying, I've just got a new job in for whatever amount of hours, you know, and then wait for that job to manifest itself. And that's what witchcraft is. There's a lot of witchcraft that is self-love, self-care, being at one with nature. You know, we go with the seasons of the year, we follow the seasons of the year. But manifestation to me is like a real big part of witchcraft.
No, I think it is. I think it's all of these kind of things. It's the enhanced use of the mind, isn't it? I think. I mean, even sort of when you're psychic, it is an enhanced form of, you know, it's like if you're an empathetic person, like I'm an empathetic person, like I get affected when other people are sad.
So yeah, I do too.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
And things affect me very deeply. Yeah. Like if I have a fight with someone, that will stick with me for days and days. And I will wake up in the middle of the night thinking about that, and I can't let it go.
Yeah.
And I've been like that since I've been a kid. I've been affected by things stronger than most people. Yeah. And I was just like, oh, that's not great. But it is what it is, isn't it? I mean, it is what it is, and it's something you just have to learn to deal with, I suppose. But yeah. Anyway, I think that's such a lovely, positive way to end. I'm going to be a huge musician, and I'm going to see what happens in a year's time, I guess. Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you very much.
But now you see, you've already self-doubting, aren't you? Because you've already said...
I can't even say the word.
We're going to see if it happens. Okay. What you're going to say is, you're going to see me in a year's time famous.
Yeah, in a year's time, I'm going to come back round Julie's house as an international rock star. Yes. I'm going to hand her one of my gold discs.
You're going to hand me a bouquet of flowers and say, thanks very much, love.
Yes, I am. So there we are. We've ended it on a positive note. Thank you.
You're welcome.